Find it, watch it. Based on the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, mighty kingdoms, unlikely heroes, and a great darkness collide in the epic drama, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
There was a time when the world was so young. There had not yet been a sunrise. But even then, there was light.
My approach was to kind of completely immerse myself in Middle-earth. So I watched the films again and again. I listened to the audiobooks constantly. We spoke about it constantly. And I think the thing that I kind of set on, because obviously it's a Galadriel who's younger than the Galadriel we know, but she's not young. And so there was the idea of showing, like, how does an elf age?
Stand with me. Ours was no chance meeting. Not fate. Nor destiny. Ours was the work of something greater.
He is a man. He's from the Southlands. He is starting a new life when we meet him. He has a past, a complex past, but he's leaving that behind. And he is, I guess, trying to start afresh. He meets a few hurdles along the way in the shape of other characters and a few circumstances that arise as the show unfolds.
One day this will be your kingdom.
Raise your sail and then let go.
Choose not the path of fear, but that of faith.
With a dwarf's lifespan being roughly around 300 years and an elf being immortal, that, you know, the 20 years is a huge chunk out of a dwarf's life. It's like 2 weeks for an elf. So there's an argument there already, but there's a friendship that had been established, but those 20 years apart of no communication has fractured it a little bit.
Elves have forests to protect, dwarfs their mines, men their fields of grain, but we Harfoots have each other.
For I must now wander this wandering day.
We're safe.
She's often misunderstood and underestimated, I think. She's kind of, curious, but it can sometimes be read as just naive in the community. And I think that whilst some people can think that her risk-taking is misplaced and slightly dangerous, just causing trouble for the sake of it, she just does have the best of intentions, and she can be kind of one step ahead. I think it's also kind of trying to turn traditionalists into revolutionaries, and I think she's just on that journey.
We can survive this. You and I.
My character is Bronwyn. She's a Southlander, a human from the Southlands, and single mother of a rebellious teenage son, in love in a forbidden romance with an elf.
Arondir and Bronwyn share, I think, a spirit in terms of curiosity, in terms of wonder, and that their love flourishes from that soul, from that aspect of their being, because he's not a human.
Because you don't historically have elves in Tolkien's world in love with, or in any kind of like with, humans.
That's the obstacle of wanting to be that close but not being able to.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel. Put up your sword.
I just really was struck by the idea of him being half elven, He's kind of unique in that way, there's a humanity to him, there's a heart to him, which sometimes the steely exterior of the elf, which he does have, slips a little bit. He cares about people, and I think it's his greatest strength, even if he maybe doesn't know that.
It will be the end, not just of our people, but all peoples.
He's holding his cards pretty close to his chest. He, I think, is on a sort of, voyage of searching for his identity. He's sort of still struggling really to know what that is, and the sort of shadows that are around him and the ways in which we see that manifest in his behavior. It's been a gift of a part to play, and I'm coming very close now to the place where the audience can finally come in on the journey.
I am sorry, but their time has come.
The past is with us all. The past is dead.
I was a big fan of the books when I was very young. I had never thought I'd be stepping, into the Middle Earth. And it's constantly a source of joy for me. And I have a love of language and poetry, and I feel so blessed to be able to work with words that have such richness and depth. I think it's amazing.
I was first introduced to Tolkien through the movies, and then once I got to New Zealand, I read up a lot about him in the Silmarillion, and obviously in the text that in the Fellowship.
What I think I really appreciated between both Tolkien's writing, but also the story that J.D. and Patrick have sort of created for a series version of this adaptation, is there's room to really do a deeper dig.
I've always been obsessed with fantasy, and partly one of my gateways to fantasy was The Hobbit. He's like no other writer. He created thousands of years of history. And no matter when you pop into it, it's interesting. I think the main character of this is this magical world. It's a really accessible yet completely otherworldly world.
To find out where to watch any movie, check out Moviefone.com. Find it, watch it.